Why are you putting me through this every week?
Bang, bang. Zzzt.
This is bingo. There's a lot more bingo than last time. It's gonna be horrible. No one wants to be here. Please send help. That's the best intro you're getting to this. We've expanded. We've expanded quite a lot. We have... I actually need to check my counting on this. We've gone from 3 teams to 8. I think it's a total of 128 categories that we've got to dish out today. So I'm going to let people introduce themselves, starting with Mike.
Hi, I'm Mr. Psycho and I run the Roasting Robots podcast and I'm here.
Just realised that the next 3 people are either us or not here. We'll go through those last. Ned.
Hi, I exist, I think.
Where do people know you from, Ned?
Probably ESC. I don't do much else, to be honest. I don't even know why I'm here, to be honest. I just kind of walk through the door.
It's all about just being in the right group chats. That's how you get into this stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just turning up and dropping existential bombs. I'm not sure if I exist.
I mean, do any of us really exist? I mean, what's that quote that says there's a very good chance that we're in a simulation right now?
I think that was it.
If this were a simulation, don't you think it'd be a little bit better?
I mean, not necessarily. It could be a shit simulation.
I say, not if Sam programmed it.
Oh God, no! If I programmed it, it'd be terrible.
And David.
Oh yes, that's me, isn't it? Yep. Hi, I'm David. I build far too many Lego robots and have a series on YouTube.
And Jevon.
Hello, I am World of Woodra on YouTube, and genuinely a life goal has been reached today.
Jevon has never been able to play a game of bingo. His religion actually forbids it.
Not only am I on Spinnerproof, but I get to play along properly with bingo this year. I'm thrilled.
I'm so glad we could do this for you. We've also got a bunch of people who couldn't be here today. Trying to get 9 people together to record is a bit of a process. So we also have, back from last year, Sam Elliott with Robocast. We've got Charlie Hubbard of Good Robottle. And finally, Oliver Stapley of ESC / No More Spinners. I feel like I should explain how this works all over again.
Don't I get to introduce myself?
I mean, if you want to, yeah. I didn't think you would...
You didn't even give me the option.
I honestly believe that if you could be anonymous on Spinnerproof, you would be. Okay, and Sam.
Hi, you all think my name is Sam, and you probably know me from Spinnerproof.
I'm really worried your name's not Sam now. Anyway, this version of bingo is horribly convoluted and almost certainly not worth the effort. Each of the teams have submitted 16 categories. Some of them are nice, some of them are nasty. They've all been put into one big pot, jumbled up, and we're going to draw them each one by one to make our own card of 16. That's literally all there is to it. I've made it sound a lot worse than it is. Shall we get going? Because this is going to be horrendously long.
Let's do it.
Right then, Mike, you are up first.
Oh no. Why have you done this to me?
Oh, this is the perfect start. So your first category comes from Ned.
Oh no.
It's entitled Puff the Magic Dragon, and it is The Magic White Smoke Appears. A robot has a LiPo battery fire in the battle box.
Well, that's certainly not going to happen at all.
And I'm sure we definitely won't see that category again.
Oh no.
Fittingly, the next category is For Sam from Mr. Psycho. It's entitled For Grant, and it is that Grant Imahara is mentioned directly on the show, preferably as part of a memorial to him.
That's wholesome.
Lovely.
Category number 3 goes to us, and it comes from Jevon. He's entitled it The Kill Shot. Oh, I like this already. An axe KOs another robot.
Yes!
Incredibly fitting that you guys get that one.
Brilliant.
There definitely won't be a Spinnerproof and Hammer theme through this whole thing.
I feel like I have to argue what's the definition of an axe versus a hammer.
Well, fortunately, Jevon has kind of covered this by saying, a big hitty robot hits another robot so hard it shits the bed. I don't think that needs any clarifying whatsoever, right?
What about hammer saws?
That is not in my lexicon, I'm sorry. It doesn't... What? No.
What?
Overhead spinner is the term you're looking for.
Like hammer saw. They all call it a hammer saw.
Oh, like Ice Wave.
Yeah, Ice Wave and Sonoboyachi, those are overhead spinners.
No, no.
Then what is it then?
You're seriously going to claim that Ice Wave is not an overhead spinner?
And well, Robot Wars defined an overhead spinner as something like Vulture, and Vulture is base level what Scorpios and Sawblaze replaced. So they are by default overhead spinners because the terminology of overhead spinner came before the terminology hammer saw.
What's that? You're saying that both Scorpios and Sawblaze stole the idea of Vulture?
No, I'm saying they did it much better.
Who would say such a thing?
So much better.
For the category, are you happy for axe and hammer to be essentially interchangeable?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really got anything like blacksmith, which I would say is definably a hammer. So yeah, I think they're pretty interchangeable. I don't think there are actually. I can't think of anything that would resemble a proper hammer in this season, but I can't remember half the robots that are in this season because there's just so many of them.
I love that the British guy forgets Beta.
Oh yeah, they're here.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bail you out on that one.
Would you like to exclude Beta from the Axe Club? Because I think that is the
Yes.
hammeriest.
Yes, it is. It
hitting
is the
weapon.
hammerest hammer.
It's easy for you to say.
I'm questioning whether Rusty is a axe though. I'm not sure it counts. So if Rusty does get the KO, you're not having that square.
Aww.
I'm sure we'll definitely have to come back to that in future. It's such a likely scenario. Excellent. Well, thank you, Jevon. Next category goes to Charlie. It's another Mr. Psycho category entitled, funnily enough, Pulverizer Pete. A robot gets hit by the arena pulverizer hazard more than once in a single fight.
Say there's fair odds of that happening.
Last year, was it Mike that gave almost exclusively horrible squares?
Yeah, there's a 14 out of 16 chance I've done the same thing this year.
I mean, that's not that bad. That seems really reasonable. Ned, you're up next.
Am I?
You've got one of ours, a Spinnerproof category entitled Everything is Fine, in which an entire episode passes without any mention of the pandemic, virus, any of that.
Okay, I think I've got a pretty decent shot there. That's not
You underestimate the world of TV.
possibly, perhaps.
It's really hard to know what way they're going to go with that. If they're going to just try not to mention it at all, in which case you're fine, or if they're going to mention it, I feel like it will be constant.
I get the feeling they're going to at least mention it at the start of every episode. Because I've seen that on a lot of other TV shows.
Yeah, possibly.
Selfishly, here's hoping they never shut up about it. Can't have people scoring points off of our categories. No, we wouldn't make them too easy at all. Oh, this is a nice one. This is an exchange between two people that aren't here. It's for Oliver, it's from Sam Elliott, and he's called it an open field. A BattleBots rookie robot appears in the top 8. And oh dear God, he's written a lot about this one.
No.
So let's try and
joy.
parse this together, shall we? So he's saying that the team can have previously featured on a previous season. However, they must not have been at BattleBots with the same machine. For example, Hijinks would count as a rookie, as Jenna or Ryan have featured on the Scorpios team, but not before with Hijinks.
I think that's fair. BattleBots have always done odd things in how they class rookies, and it is more about the robot than the team, so...
I'm just surprised you didn't reference your whole big deal thing here.
Never again.
Jevon has spent the past, I think, month now trying to work out all of the sort of interrelations between the Big Deal team and every other team around them, including Hijinks.
All of the teams are connected, it's all a massive conspiracy, and they all share an equal part of the giant nut.
It is full Pepe Sylvia.
Yes, that's a reference I understand.
Yeah, it should land with other people on that one. Don't worry.
Anyway, David, it is your category next.
Okay.
So this comes from Oliver. He's called it Mortal Coil. Ghost Raptor gets split in two, Vanquish or Red Devil style.
Ooh.
That sounds promising looking at how it is this year.
Free space, excellent. Last one of the first round, and it's quite nice that no one's got their own category yet. Jevon, you've got one from David. He's called it Frenemies. This is super appropriate.
Scorpios versus Hijinks 1v1.
I like it.
Nice and simple.
We don't want simple squares. We want squares that are really complicated to sort of define. You know, we want to have as much conversation at the end of the series about how on earth to score this as possible. You know,
I'm sure somebody's got a Drisk in this. It'll be fine.
Oh, God.
That's another rabbit hole that Jevon's been down.
I mean, if it helps, with the next category, someone has taken it upon themselves to define what fire is. So
oh my goodness.
that's a good start. So this is Mike's second category. It's from Jevon, entitled The Atomic Bomb. It's super specific. Atom number 94, I'm going to stylize it as, catches fire. Fire must be large amounts of smoke or visible flame. Only has to happen once. Must be seen on camera.
So I'm not quite sure what fire is. Could you be a bit more specific?
You got your triangle, right? Your fire triangle.
Okay.
Three parts of it. You've got heat. And you've got the other two that escape me at this point in time. Oxygen? Is that there?
Fuel and oxygen.
And fuel, yeah.
Fuel. Yeah, that's the other one. Fuel.
Look, when heat, fuel and oxygen love each other very much.
Have you ever heard of the term riding the tricycle?
Gone down the rabbit hole again, haven't we?
Basically, I don't want any little wisps of smoke coming out when a motor's gone. Oh, I can't be bothered anymore. It needs to be an actual fire.
Well, as long as it's a lipo, I have 2 squares right there.
Now, I really want it to be just an odd bit of wiring.
So you say a visible flame. Wouldn't it have to be a big flame then?
It can be a visible flame. It doesn't have to be a visible flame. It can either be large amounts of smoke or a visible flame.
But not both.
It can be both as well. If it fits one of those things, then it's fine. And yeah, so if you can screenshot like a second of fire, not just sparks going up, but yeah, actual fire, then you have it.
I really want a robot with a flamethrower to just set fire to like a single sticker on the outside of it now.
That would count.
Excellent. Next one is for Sam. It's from Oliver and entitled Rocky Balboa. Really simply, it's tantrum works.
I mean, fingers crossed.
He said the drum must spin. Impact. This is.
Sam, come on, what is this? He's written an essay for everyone.
The drum must spin. Impact with the force of other similar weapons. And it must be agreed, by who we don't know, that the punching mechanism increase the impact of the hit over that of a static mounted drum.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
I mean, definitely not a drum, first of all. I've just realised that neither of these people... Hang on. I'm blaming Sam for that. It's Oliver that's written that essay. What am I talking about?
Poor Sam.
They're as bad as each other.
Speaking of Oliver, it looks like he might be coming into the call.
Oh, do we allow it?
I've said that as long as he starts recording his own audio before he joins, it's fine.
Awesome. We'll allow that then.
Next up, it's our category.
It is coming from Ned, and it's entitled We Die Together. Gemini use exclusively the clusterbot setup.
Ooh.
So not using the big boy pants.
I was going to go exclusively big boy pants, but then I remembered in the trailer it looked as though they used the clusterbot, so I was like, yep, screw it, just clusterbot then.
That's very good of you. You could have intentionally screwed us over.
Instead, I screwed you over regardless because I don't think it's going to happen.
I think they've built the big boy pants. They're going to put them on.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
The only thing that makes me think we have a chance is that looking at the hit they're taking in the trailer, they might just be out.
I mean, possibly, but I doubt it.
I want to see the big boy pants, so I kind of don't want us to get that square.
Yeah, same. I get you.
Next up, this is going to be a fun one to police. It goes to Charlie. It's from Mr. Psycho. Titled Be Trans, Throw Hands. Sporkanok receives an unnecessary amount of hate from the internet. Looking at you, Reddit and Facebook groups.
Oh dear.
Oh God,
Oh,
you're poking
God.
these flames.
This implies that Mike thinks that there's a necessary amount of hate.
If I have to define it, I'm talking on the levels of like Chomp has received, just completely not even close to reasonable amounts.
So tick that, yep. That's going to be one of those we know it when we see it kind of things, isn't it?
Yeah. It's interesting because I made that prediction before I started talking about Sporkanock's paint scheme on my videos, and I was super nervous that I was going to get a lot of, YouTube hate comments because of it being YouTube, and I have seen nothing but positivity towards it, so I'm not even sure if that's going to come true this time.
But that's coming from an audience that you've built of people who are reasonable. We've all been on the Facebook group.
Such lovely people.
It's happening.
Oh.
Ned's got his own category.
Oh boy.
I've just seen that. Some of these I'd looked at previously. Some of them I hadn't. Ned's were the last ones in, so I hadn't looked at any of them. This name is 10 out of 10. Spider-Man pointing meme.
Oh god.
Sawblaze and Scorpios fight. Presumably you mean each other,
Yeah.
as opposed to just generally. It could be a whiteboard or main competition, but it has to be 1v1.
So you could be waiting until all of the basement tapes are out as well.
I mean, I could, but it's also not going to happen because I just know for a fact that one's not going to happen.
Can we agree this year? Once it's finished airing, it's over. It's done. We're not waiting months again to wrap this up.
But that was so much fun last time.
You guys can wrap it up. I'm going to keep this going.
We'll find out when we stop the count.
I mean, that's how it's done in the States.
Oliver's next category comes from Sam. It's entitled The Same But Different. A four-wheel drive vertical spinner wins BattleBots 2020.
Well, that's a free space.
We'll move on as fast as we can from that. David, you've got one of ours. It's called Large and in Charge. All three, quote, oversized robots, so huge, Smee and Mammoth, finished with a combined win rate of at least
2 out of 3.
We could definitely have worded that better.
It's interesting.
So wait, a combined win rate of 2 and 3.
2 out of 3, so 2/3 wins.
Okay, I think okay.
So a win percentage of 66.6% or better.
I question, why is Chomp not an oversized robot?
Because it's twice the weight, therefore its size is reasonable.
Yeah, it makes sense. That should be fun.
Look, the robots we've listed are the robots that count for this, and you just need to come to terms with it, okay?
I'm fine with it. It's Jevon who's got the problem.
Jevon, it's so good of you to mention Chomp there, because your next category is from Oliver, and it's a Chomp category. It's entitled The Harder They Fall. Chomp's legs take significant damage from a spinner.
Oh, no. No.
So the legs are removed, or their function is impaired.
Okay.
Don't want that to happen.
I mean, you kind of want it to happen.
No, I don't.
I want to see what happens if it loses a couple of legs.
It happening fuels the fire online, which I'm not for.
I mean, it would be funny.
It would be funny to see legless Chomp sort of wobbling around the arena.
Alright, it's an Oliver double, because Mike's next category comes from Oliver. He's written another bloody essay. It's no wonder the September quiz isn't edited yet. It's entitled The 2020 Dumpster Fire. A returning competitor flops hard.
Ooh.
I'm going to read this word for word. It's quite enjoyable. A grey area, but good examples are Bombshell, 2018, and Bronco, 2019, who struggled to get wins significantly more than they should. Also included are other previously unsuccessful bots who failed to improve. Axe Backwards, Ultimo Destructo, etc.
A good rule of thumb is saying that the bot was built to win fights.
Sharko and Battle Royale clearly didn't flop hard, despite weak records.
Oh, man.
This is why we need Oliver in the call.
I feel like this does not need to be defined at all, and I can just kind of arbitrarily be like, yeah, Smee is totally designed to win every fight.
See, the problem is it kind of is, because it's worked well at lighter weight classes.
Well, I mean, if Oliver's not here to tell me that I can't get a square, then that's his problem.
Should have showed up.
Yeah, no, Witch Doctor isn't designed to win. What are you talking about?
Just does it by accident.
Yeah, God.
Oh my god, it's a hat trick. Sam and Robocast have got another Oliver category. Luckily, this one's a lot shorter. He's entitled it Just Like the Simulations. A group where we all pretend to be at BattleBots filming matchup happens, and the result goes the same way. So any matchup from the 2020 React tournament that Oliver ran.
It's going to be difficult seeing as half that field isn't here.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sam, how many of those words made any sense to you whatsoever?
Some.
You know what? I'm not even going to try and explain it. We'll just move on. If people know, they know.
I'm gonna trust that people will figure out whether that square is legit on their own. I mean, I'm not verifying any of this anyway, so.
And if they don't know, then they should join a group where we all pretend to be at BattleBots filming, and then they'll see why.
They'll struggle because we've renamed it to a group where we pretend to be the BattleBots live audience now.
That's a good point, yeah.
Wait, can they actually get that square because we've changed name?
Ooh.
I mean, if Oliver had given it to himself, I'd definitely be with that definition. But Sam had a rough ride last time. Let's not be mean.
No, he's not here. Let's be mean.
Let's be 50% mean. But we'll be nice on the next one because it's our category. It comes from Charlie and it's entitled A Noticeable Absence. Very simply, Bite Force not being present is mentioned.
Well, I'll tick that immediately.
Charlie himself then gets one from Ned, and we're all ashamed of you for this one, Ned. I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh, what have I done?
First of all, it's a very uncreative title. Slammo fails to work.
Aww.
Apologies to Craig Danby.
The detail text is Slammo fails to work as intended. Fails to work being throughout its entire main season, not just one fight. Boo, Ned.
Poor Craig. Poor Craig.
I mean, I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
You're double down on this, are you?
I'm dying on this hill, I guess.
Unfortunately, you've got something not too horrible in return. It comes from us. It's entitled Hammer Time. It's quite a simple one. Two hammers fight each other.
Plausible.
Now, we have listed out what counts as a hammer, and I'm now really worried that I've missed one. So we're saying that Chomp, Shatter, Beater are all hammers. Mad Catter or Extinguisher if they run the hammer. Rusty we have left as a question mark for everyone to decide.
Don't think it is. It's a pillar drill. Or a drill of some sort.
I mean, it's not any kind of drill.
It's a hammer drill.
It's a jack... You say that as a joke, but that's a real thing, and that's what it is. It's a jackhammer. So it does have the word hammer in it, just like hammer saw would.
It's not a hammer, though.
I would like, if it's okay with everyone, and I think Sam and I agreed this earlier, tell me if we didn't, Sam, it would be good to reserve judgment until we've seen the weapon in action. If it's got a fast swing to it and a sort of impact, then hammer. If it's kind of slow and talky, then not hammer.
I don't recall having that conversation, but I'll go with it.
Jevon, it sounded like you were about to disagree.
I was going to say that I'm pretty sure I've seen test box footage of it. And secondly, so you would class something like Jasper that was slow and talky as not a hammer then?
Yeah, because that clearly wasn't a hammer.
Okay.
See, I'm wondering if all of this is moot because I remember seeing a photo of Rusty with a sledgehammer attachment.
This is true. And they do have it.
Oh, that might be what we discussed, actually, Sam.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, when we originally saw photos, it did just have a big old hammer on the end. I think it's we'll know it if we see it again, isn't it?
Oh, no. Those squares, man. We'll know it if we see it squares. Endless arguments will follow, I'm sure.
They didn't cause any problems last time. Oh, goody. It's Oliver's turn, and he's got an Oliver essay. It's called Bot 56. A previously confirmed entry fails to make it to TV. Let me just catch my breath before getting into this. Previously confirmed means there must be public, official media about its presence in the final field, e.g. website photos, BattleBots Resurrection, etc. No supporter content permitted. Make it to TV requires a full fight to be shown. So Raven, Parallax, and Electric Ray are good examples, presumably of robots failing to make it.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Hello.
Is that an Oliver?
It is. I'm probably a bit quiet.
Oliver, we've just given you your own category, Bot 56. A previously confirmed entry fails to make it to TV.
Oh, fun.
Next up, we've got a category for Jevon. It comes from Ned, and it's called, I don't think so, Chief. A team refuses to fight.
Ooh.
So a team refuses to fight another team. The matchup has to be changed, or they take an L.
Just think Captain Shuderator from last season.
Yeah. This will be an interesting one to try and find evidence for.
I was going to say, are you happy to take out of show information for that?
I mean, I think we've kind of got to, haven't we, really? Because the Captain Shuderator one wasn't really a sort of in-show thing. It was more out of show that everyone sort of was talking about it for, so...
But everybody knew.
A good test is if I know that it's a changed lineup, then everyone must know.
Yeah.
But what if, later on, you end up speaking to one of the builders involved and phrase a question to them as though you don't know, even though you do? What then?
Are you ever going to let that go?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to let that go. Because that's not how we scripted that question.
I think among the people represented here, there's enough of contact with people who know what happened at BattleBots, who would be able to tell us whether or not a matchup was changed. Whether or not we're allowed to count that, as it won't be public information, is another thing entirely. But we don't have to say what matchup it is. We can just cross it off the bingo grid.
I mean, sure, if you want to keep the audience in the dark and operate, you know, basically like a black site, but for bingo, then you go for it.
See, I was going to say, the thing that's going to make this even more difficult this year, last year they announced the first few fight cards, so when Shredderator ended up fighting somebody different as its first fight, people's heads did turn, because obviously they'd heard otherwise. Whereas this year, we don't have any of that. We weren't told any of the matchups until supporters were told the first fight card, so it's going to be a tricky one.
As long as one of us just sort of like makes an anonymous throwaway Reddit account and posts it on there, then it becomes public information and it's fine. That's how that works, right?
That's actually a pretty big brain play.
Oh, I heard Bite Force were meant to fight Helichopper? I don't know.
Ding, 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 we've mentioned Helichopper.
The BattleBots inside whistleblower, I love it.
Next up, it's a Sam category. It comes from Ned, entitled David Attenborough. 2 or more animal-themed robots fight. Animal theme must include paintwork and or build structure, not just a name or logo.
I was thinking like Ghost Raptor, because that's a bit like, nah.
I mean, are ghosts even animals?
Raptors are.
Not anymore, they're not.
And I'd include Mammoth with that as well, because so, you know.
What about Dragon?
Yeah, but is it really part of the overall design?
I mean, it spits fire.
Not anymore, it doesn't.
What?
Well, screw them then.
What happens, for example, if we got a US ant weight in? Do ants count?
No, because ants aren't animals.
Ants aren't animals. This is definable in No More Spinners.
Oh, God,
Episode
we
10.
can't explain this.
This is when we learn how little of everyone's content Sam watches.
This hurts me.
Don't worry, Sam. Just come along for the ride. It's all good.
Just smile and wave.
Apparently 7 out of 10 education professionals think that their silent H is in Spinner.
Right, Sam. You understand phonics.
Me, to an extent.
People like to spell the word spinner, as it was said by the Robot Wars announcer guy,
Yeah.
as SPINAH, sometimes a second H. Is that a silent H or not?
Well, is the silent H on... Well, is the H on the end of R silent? I don't know.
Is there an H sound?
Well, it depends how you say R, doesn't it? Like R, no. But if you went like then that's got an H sound on the end of it.
Ah.
Exactly.
But that's not how you say spinner.
Spinner! No, I think it's a silent H.
That's all I needed to hear. Conversation over. Moving on to our category.
Apollo's in the pack.
Oh, boys. Oh, yes. If we were going to get any of our categories, I wanted it to be this one. comes from ourselves. It's entitled Apologies to Craig Danby. Slammo makes the top 16.
Yeah.
I will point out that we did consider this being top 32 instead. But, you know, we were setting high expectations. And we believe they will be reached.
I think after the roller coaster you guys have had with Craig Danby robots over the course of Spinnerproof, I think it's well deserved that you get this one.
Yeah, and for the record, it is us that deserves it, not Craig. We've definitely suffered more.
Oh dear.
This is our battle, not his.
Poor Craig.
Not anymore. I really believe this year. I really believe.
You really believed about Foxic as well, and look where that got us.
Look, I can only be wrong so many times, okay? I won't allow it.
Next up, it's a category for Charlie. It comes from Sam. It's entitled The Saviour is Here. Rusty goes 3 minutes in any fight. Can win or lose, but it mustn't be knocked out.
I like this one.
Have we learned if Rusty can self-right yet?
Yes.
Can it self-right?
Well, we've heard rumour that it can.
Okay.
Oh, yes, rumours are confirmation. Thanks, Reddit.
I think it was rumours from builders, so once I see it, I'll believe it. But I think I have seen it with these odd sort of chomp-style wings that allow it to self-right from its side.
So Rusty is now an angel.
It's always been an angel in your eyes.
It's just going up and up and up, isn't it?
Ned's next category comes from Mike. It's entitled Tropical Storm Beta.
Beta knocks out a vertical spinner.
Well, that's not going to happen.
This is a lovely bit of defining. Beta scores a knockout, as defined by BattleBots, against a heavyweight robot armed with a vertically spinning weapon that is generally regarded as a conventional vertical spinner. Hammer saws don't count.
What?
Okay.
I know that somebody's going to contest that, so I had to cover all my bases on that one.
I'm glad you did, because this is a long conversation and another rabbit hole we went down earlier this year.
I'm just checking, but like drums count and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would fusion count?
It has a vertically spinning weapon, so I would say yeah.
Oh, Mike, you've affected an English accent.
Yeehaw! It has it! I'm sorry, America.
Don't be.
Yeah, he's not sorry.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
Oh dear.
Mike, are there any specific robots that you want to sort of call out as exceptions or weird versions of this rule?
I think I covered all of my bases with it, so I don't think I need to specify any individual robots.
So Mammoth, not avert.
Mammoth is a flipper.
I would agree Mammoth is not a conventional vert spinner.
Excellent. We look forward to it not being an issue anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, I've got to do this as deadpan as possible. It's a category for Oliver. It comes from Jevon. It's entitled Dun Dun Da 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 Da. Flight of the Valkyries is sung. Because I'm kind of bored of it at this point.
Aren't we all?
Jevon, would you like to do the song with a bit more feeling for me?
No.
Excellent, moving on.
For the exact same reasons as you don't want to.
David up next, another Jevon category, this one entitled Unprecedented. The word unprecedented is used to describe COVID-19. This word spreads faster than the poxy virus.
It really does. Somebody looked up the word in a dictionary earlier this year, and now everyone's using it.
Should be fun then.
It's an unprecedented use of the word unprecedented.
It really is.
Quite literally.
I mean, it's not the only word that's come into common usage this year. I doubt any of us here really knew what Zoom was before about March.
I definitely used the word Zoom before.
Not as often as we do now, though.
I mean, I named my tortoise Zoom about 10 years ago, so, you know.
Did you shout, "You're on mute" at it a lot?
She's quite mute anyway, so, you know.
Last thing you want is a talkative tortoise.
Did you shell out for Zoom Premium?
Get out.
Where's the eject button?
Jevon, David is returning the favour with a category of his own for you. It's called The Eyes Have It, and what he's done right is he's taken the word eyes, like yeses, and replaced it with the word eyes, like things on your face. So good. Huge wins the giant nut.
Oh, God. Why would you do this, David?
I like pain.
I do think Huge is in with a shout this year.
It might be. It honestly depends on who it is fighting, because it is really well formatted against some opponents, and it is a plan really well executed, as we saw last season, but against others, it's just not. And it's going to be a difficult one.
I would like to know what, if any, changes they've made between last season and this, because the bot looks effectively the same.
Well, this year, they can use one of the wheels as a table.
The body sections are apparently massively beefed up. I can't remember where they got the weight to do that from, but they are massively beefed up.
The wheels.
Yeah, of course, they left one behind in the pits to use as a table and went in with one.
Yeah, it's just one wheel and it's going to go round in circles. It's actually a diagonal spinner now.
I'm sure Euron can attest to the fact that one-wheeled robots are not recommended.
Congratulations, I think. Have we made it into... Oh, no, we haven't made it into the second half yet. Scratch that. We're one round of picks away from making it into the... Oh, no, that's not... I thought half of 16 was 5. Mike, you've got one from Oliver entitled Improvise, Adapt, Overcome. A Swiss Army-style bot makes the top 32. So Swiss Army, in this case, more than one different weapon type that could be swapped into the bot. Extinguisher would be a yes, Valkyrie would be a no.
Okay, that's a lot simpler to understand than I thought it was going to be, because he said improvise, adapt, overcome, and I was like, is somebody going to piss themselves? Is that the prediction? Just they're not allowed to leave the arena because of COVID restrictions and they have to drink their own piss to survive. Is that the prediction? But no, this is a lot simpler.
Things somehow got even darker than Clashbots filming.
No, I don't want to eat the chicken nuggets anymore.
In order to stay socially distanced, they pretend to camp out in the pits, sort of rough overnight, but actually they're sneaking out to go to a hotel.
I'll get grilling for that.
Eject. Where's the eject?
Yeah, the puns are off the scale tonight.
In the interest of speed, I'm going to move along. Robocast are giving themselves a category here, entitled Absent Audience. Attention will be drawn to the lack of a crowd repeatedly by the commentary or presenting team. That's how that word works. The presenting team. They provide presents.
That's why they're releasing it this time of year.
This is the least committal note yet. He says, I think 10 times throughout the season, at least for this to count. So yeah, if it happens 10-ish times, he'll give it to himself, basically.
He's not even here to argue it.
I think we should enforce a number.
I'm thinking, because I believe there will be some form of crowd, just an like a socially distant crowd.
I don't think there is.
The Roboteers have these raised viewing galleries, I believe, this year, which look kind of awesome. I like it. Does that constitute a crowd?
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, it's only a crowd if those places get a bit crowded.
But 2's company and 3's defined as a crowd, therefore...
Checkmate. I think the Roboteers would count as a crowd. I don't see why not.
But the thing is, lack of crowd doesn't have to mean no crowd. It can also mean a smaller crowd than usual. You know, I'm an Oxford City supporter. We don't get very many people at matches. And people always talk about the lack of a crowd. There's still at least 3 people there.
So, by this definition then, Sam shouldn't get the point unless they say, oh, there's less people than there are usually here. 10 times.
Yeah, I think that's genuinely reasonable that could happen. Teams, I think, will mention how sad it is to not have a crowd there to tell them how brilliant they are in interviews and things.
And all of the Roboteers watching will get a bit sad.
Yes,
do we
Ned.
know how many episodes are in this season?
Some.
Apparently, I have heard stories that there is still 40 hours of programming, somehow.
Right, because I'm thinking maybe they could mention it like once an episode at the start.
In which case, he'll probably get it.
So I'm saying 10.
Yeah, tell me if you disagree, but because he's not here to defend himself, and because he's given it to himself, I think the 10 that he's written is the right thing to go with. So, minimum of 10 times.
It's on him to count it, though. No one else is going to count it for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with all of these. It's up to you to prove it. If it means that you have to sit there listening intently to every single word, then that's on you. Fortunately, our next category does not do that to us. It's our own category, entitled Ooter is Ooter. A non-spinner scores a proper Ooter. So a proper scooter... A proper
scooter.
A proper scooter, meaning that it's not just dumped behind the screws and getting stuck there. So the Ooter zone in the corner, the kind of duck-style Ooter that Bronco dished out, that sort of thing from a non-spinner.
Cool.
Charlie gets a David one, entitled Wee Woo. No, not that one. Extinguisher's fire extinguisher puts out a fire.
Wow.
Okay.
It works.
Ned, you're getting a Charlie category. It's entitled Careful Icarus. A robot that previously did super well will falter hard and crash out early.
What are we defining as like falling super hard?
So this is a thing that happened with Charlie. Charlie, for the first few categories, didn't put any notes and then put notes for the rest. I think he just didn't realise the box was there. So we have no information on what he would class as a robot that did super well or crashing out early.
Super well, maybe would consider top 16, maybe?
That seems reasonable.
So,
Or at least 3-1 record previous years.
Yeah, maybe.
What if we said top 16 or entry to a play-in match?
Yeah, okay.
And then crashing out early, I guess, would be not making the 32.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Let's go with that.
Because, yeah, the earliest you can get with the format is 32, so, yeah, go ahead.
Perfecto. Oliver, you're up next. You're getting a Jevon one.
I'm so sorry.
Entitled Hashtag Get Hype.
Hypershock makes the top 4.
Simple as.
Oh, wow. Really?
Really?
Jevon, you've been calling this since day one, pretty much, haven't you?
Yeah, this is their year for me. I hope. Please?
I can get why you're so behind them. I have concerns given that I've heard that the build was finished literally last minute on site.
Oliver, the build is always finished last minute on site. Every year it's finished last minute on site. And the only year that's had a major effect was 2018.
And this is where my prediction of the pot that has done really well but then crash out early comes in.
No. Well, Hypershock hasn't done really well, I would say. It's
made a play-in match.
Yeah, it has made a play-in match, and to be fair, I don't think it should have had to have gone through that either.
It fucking tanked in that play-in match.
It really did, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Hypershock has been optimised again this year. They've not ditched the old design and they've reworked it, and that played into their strengths last year, and if they've done the same again this year, worked on what didn't work so well, then they're going to go far for me. I think, anyway. I hope. So I really want Oliver to get that one.
David, you're up next. You've got a Charlie category entitled Armchair Engineer. Someone makes comments of how a robot sucks and they could do it better while having no experience whatsoever.
Shall I just tick that one straight away and just get on with it?
I think it's already happened.
We'll take one screenshot, that'll do. That's fine. Anything?
I'll just go on Reddit right now and take the screenshot. Should be fine.
Get the ball rolling.
Yep.
Doesn't count if you make the comment yourself, okay?
Oh, damn.
Ah, shit.
Although you have robot building experience, so...
To an extent.
You have an above average amount of robot building experience.
That's true. We'll go with that.
Jevon, I don't know how you're going to feel about this one. It comes from Spinnerproof. It's entitled Should Have Stayed Electric. Beta runs out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
So we're defining running out of gas as either the weapon not working completely or lacking the power to self-right. Because who would do such a thing?
No one.
Now, if they don't use the weapon in a fight, could I argue that they run out of gas?
No.
I think we'd need the team to identify that as the problem. and they're a communicative enough team that they will talk about whatever's happened in a given fight.
One of them is a communicative enough team member. The other two would rather keep it private.
He's communicative enough for the three of them.
Yeah.
I think without Nick Lynch on the weapon controls, you're going to struggle to get this one.
I don't know, because is Gabe not the weapons operator this time?
He was pretty trigger happy with Duck, wasn't he?
He was very trigger happy with Duck, therefore it could well happen. I feel aggressively not in either direction. What am I saying? Words are hard. Move on.
You have no strong feelings one way or the other.
That's it.
If you die, tell your wife you said hello.
Jevon is struggling to master the human emotion of ambivalence.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I think I'm fine now.
Here's to another lousy millennium.
Good news, everyone. It's a Spinnerproof category double. Mike's got another one of ours. It's entitled Jumping in the Grave. A robot is referred to as the new Bite Force.
Oh no.
So, not necessarily in those exact words. It's got to be a single robot, sort of it being directly stated or more generally referenced as them stepping into the empty shoes of Bite Force. It does exclude any comments that are made about the champion once they're champion, because that's too easy.
So that does include Tombstone then?
Yeah, if they decide that Tombstone is somehow the new Bite Force, then yeah.
Right. Okay. I can see no way that this is going to be debated.
Well, it's okay, because you're now giving Sam Elliott one that's really, really hard to define. It's entitled Lithium Polymer Armament, A Lipo Fire Occurs.
That title, perfect.
Is that what you called it last year as well?
It might have been. It genuinely might have been.
God, imagine reusing titles for your things. Who'd do that?
Who would do that, right?
Somebody who has no memory of the past.
I think Mike's done it because he's a deterministic machine who, will, given the same inputs, will do the same thing. He's playing bingo again, therefore he's produced all the same things.
I feel called out, not because you're talking about me, but because that's true.
It's okay, Mike. We're all deterministic, really.
Well, this is going to be a fun one. It's coming to us, to Spinnerproof. It comes from Charlie. It's entitled Blue Team Ready. I'm going to read this word for word. I'm shit for this title. Basically, a team presses their ready button using something other than their finger or hand. Can include their head or another object, for example.
Okay.
Charlie, are you okay?
Well, that one may as well become pre-ticked as well.
I don't know. Are they allowed to touch buttons in COVID rules?
Oh.
What if there's no button anymore?
Oh.
It's either a first episode or a not at all, isn't it?
I was going to say, yeah, this is either a hard L or a gimme. Like, there's no in between.
Maybe this year they've replaced the button with, like, the automated flush thing from a public toilet.
They're all going to be Jedi, just waving their hand in front of it.
I could use the Force. Oof.
If they've done that, I want a toilet flush at the start of every fight.
I'm just picturing the robots are prepared and ready to go, and just somebody's just waving frantically for 5 minutes trying to get it to fucking work.
Can I ask, if there are buttons, do sock puppets count? Because technically it's on a hand.
Well, if they press it with anything, it's on a hand.
Well, no, their head isn't on a hand.
It might
Their
be.
foot wouldn't be on a hand.
Maybe they're doing a handstand. Then their entire body is on a hand. Aha!
So they have to be doing a handstand, otherwise you don't get it. Great.
Do we do the sort of Taskmaster ruling here of, anything that's covering the hand is the hand?
Is that the Taskmaster ruling, or do we have to go and just, phone Greg and see what he reckons?
That's what they've put in tasks before, where it's like, if you strap 2 cushions to your hand and use those to move something that's still using your hands.
Okay.
To be fair, I'd imagine that he probably means that sock puppets are fine if he's saying that, just any inanimate object is fine.
See, the thing is, if there are buttons, the chances are they're all going to be wearing gloves for PPE.
But are they job gloves?
Stop this. They will be job gloves.
It will be job gloves.
So, what's the ruling on that?
I'd say gloves because they're probably a necessity that probably don't count.
Do the gloves count as hands?
How about if everyone is wearing gloves, then no. If one person does it with a glove and we're counting things like sock puppets, then I guess yes.
If it's a spicy glove, then it doesn't count. If it's a regular glove, it probably does count as a glove.
To be honest, I'm happy to go with if they've got gloves or sock puppets, then that's still their hand. Like I feel like the spirit of this is like when they use like a little miniature robot or a fidget spinner or whatever. There's a dated reference for you. God damn it! But you know, something like that, or their head.
Oh yeah, it's our thing, isn't it? We can.
I mean, we
sort
could
of enforce a difficult version of it on ourselves. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. Done.
We've done a little swap here. Charlie gave us that. We're giving him the one true hammer. Shatter outperforms all the other pure hammer bots.
I like that one.
So we're not counting Extinguisher and Mad Catter. Hammer saws aren't hammers. What did we decide on Rusty earlier? Because we need to do the same here again.
I think we're going to wait and see what happens when it fights.
Making it a problem for future us. My favourite approach. In this case as well, I think we agreed, Sam, I didn't think to write it down. Are we saying that outperforms means either a better record or going further in the tournament?
Yeah.
So if, say, both Shatter and Beta go out in the quarterfinals, Shatter has not outperformed Beta.
No, and I'm looking forward to regretting that at some point in the future.
Hey, it's not our problem, it's Charlie's.
True.
I mean, you could always go down the path of what the result of the fight was. So if Shatter wins by KO and Beta, or Shatter loses by KO and Beta loses by judge's decision, then Shatter has not done better than Beta.
Or we could go by, if they both get knocked out, who got knocked out last?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Oh, fine. No, wait, why am I doing this? It's not our problem. Someone else has got to measure it. Yeah, do it. Make it, do whatever.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Whoever makes it the longest in the competition down to the second. Yeah, let's do that. Ned, you've got your own category entitled Verts Re. 4-wheel drive Verts make up at least half of the top 8. The main configuration for the robot has to include a vertical spinner setup.
Yeah, so I was thinking something like Shatter, not Shatter, we're just talking about Shatter. Extinguisher, the picture on the website and the sort of the images and stuff they use is always the hammer. So I kind of call that the main config.
So whatever they're pictured with is their main configuration. Doesn't Mad Catter have a picture of both?
Yeah, I was literally about to say Mad Catter's a grey area. I'm not quite sure about because that's literally two different robots entirely. It's like,
Should we say the main config is the one they use most?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the vertical spinner. We know that's what'll happen.
I mean, yeah.
Oliver, you've got a mic category entitled Spider Chomp, Spider Chomp. Footage of classic BattleBots walking robots is included on the show.
Wow, okay.
He says it'll probably be Mechadon or Gearcrow, but Gamatron counts too.
I mean, it's not a million miles away from possible. They were starting to do that a bit more last season. Does it have to be specifically in reference to Chomp Mike, or if they just use some random stock old BattleBots footage that happens to have a walker in it, is that also cool?
The intention was any stock footage of old walking BattleBots, but it doesn't have to be today's definition of walker. It could also be the really goofy ass shit that they came up with back in the day.
So Snake would count, Shuffler Son of Waiachi would count.
Yeah.
I can't think of any more examples that would count.
Basically any robot that doesn't have wheels or tracks.
Effectively.
So Rex.
Rex isn't classic.
Oh, true, yeah. So I think that's covered that one. David, are you okay back there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
David, you've got a Ned category entitled Fire, Fire, Fire.
You didn't say that right.
I don't say anything right.
It's meant to be Beavis and Butthead, like fire, fire, fire.
You see, I was going IT crowd Moss's email to the fire department.
The best version.
Dear Sir / Madam, fire, please help.
Oh, was it a bit too formal?
So, 2 robots with flamethrowers fight. Both robots must use their flamethrowers in the battle.
I should be fine, hopefully.
Question. Does spraying gas but it not igniting count as using it?
No.
Ooh, no.
No, because that's not working.
But it is using. Just using badly.
It's trying, but failing.
It's not throwing flames. It's not a flamethrower.
Jevon, you've got a mic category entitled Sorry About Your Ceiling. An entire robot reaches and impacts something on the ceiling of the battle box. It must not be a mini-bot, but may be part of a cluster. Smaller pieces of robots don't count. Must be... Bloody hell, Mike. Must be greater than 75% of the bot by weight reaching the rafters, lights, or ceiling to count. So, Jevon, get your scales out. Run over to California. Time travel back, and we can sort this one out for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad Jevon's got this category, because clearly you Spinnerproof boys are not exactly sure when things hit the ceiling.
Oh.
Ow. My pride.
It does come before a fall.
This backstabbing was almost worth it for that joke.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting close last season, so again, I think it's a distinct possibility that it may happen. Mike, you're a bastard.
Any clarifications there, Mike?
We don't need to get super technical with it. I'm just including some of the extra definitions so that people aren't like, well, Brutus's wedge hit it.
Yeah, it has to be the robot.
It has to be like the vast majority of the robot.
Yeah.
What Mike's trying to say is that we'll know it when we see it.
That's exactly what Mike is saying. Except I used more words because that makes Ryan happy.
Well, Mike, in return, you've got an Oliver category entitled A Surprise, to be sure. Half of the final 8 are new. So in this case, he's saying that new means that the team's captain or any other team member who has previously been a BattleBots team captain must not have reached the top 16 before.
Okay.
That's gonna be fun to define.
Yeah, it was difficult coming up with a really good definition that included bots that I think deserved to be there, but cut out bots that didn't.
Are you gerrymandering your definition of new?
Would you like to draw a diagram, maybe, of what counts? That might be helpful.
Of which team members have been in which team and which team captains count and which don't.
As far as I am aware, Jevon has already dealt with all of this, and everybody's from the Warhawk team, so...
Yeah, I was going to say.
Please no.
Everything leads to Warhawk.
I mean, they haven't made the top 16, so...
Yes, they have.
Warhawk did in 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah,
Ryan.
they had the awful play-in that they didn't deserve to win, which we referenced on the Spinnerproof not long ago.
You're letting the team down, Ryan. You know, you're meant to be the one that knows all this stuff.
I know so much stuff that I get confused between the stuffs. Sam receives a David category. I love this already. Old Farm Derby. Balespear versus Black Widow 1v1. David, is that your second category that's literally these specific 2 robots fight each other?
I mean, there's a few I have in there, but I haven't had many of my picks come out yet, so they'll all appear later on, probably.
So we had the Scorpios Hijinks one earlier.
Yeah, there's, I think, 4, maybe 4 or 5 of them are
Jesus.
1v1s.
You are not messing around.
Gotta be mean.
We're up next with a Charlie category entitled Non-Starters. A robot on the website won't even have a fight. No clarifications there, I'm guessing none needed.
No, I think we covered it earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as my Bot 56 category.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed a couple of repeats, like David said, one that is also the same as one of mine, but that's fine, because they're all mixed up.
There will be repeats. There'll be more repeats to come as well, don't you worry.
Oh yeah, there's way more to come. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no.
Is it a repeat?
It's not a repeat, no. Charlie gets a Spinnerproof category. Yeah, it's a swap over entitled
Free parking.
Non-Bite Force Champion.
I like that.
Yep, it works.
I'm thinking, on Spinnerproof, we have a very high bar for confirmation. We don't accept something as true until we have got just all of the information. I think that this can't be ticked until the end of the season, because you never know.
It can't be ticked until the champion is not Bite Force.
I mean, to some people, this season doesn't count because Bite Force isn't here.
Yeah, well, we're not some people. The winner of
glad.
this season will be a champion.
Will there be a BattleBots champion, canonically?
Obviously, yeah. It's a season of BattleBots.
What else would they be a champion of?
They'll be a champion in name, but will they really feel like a champion in their heart?
That's up to them.
So, at the end of the season, Charlie needs to contact whoever wins and check that they feel like a champion.
I mean, if anyone was going to do that, Charlie's definitely the best pick.
Oh, absolutely.
No, he's just got to contact them and check that they're not Bite Force.
I mean, Bite Force was for sale.
Is he just going to, like, pull on their face and see if a mask comes off?
Ring, 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 ring. Hello, my name's Charlie. I've got a couple of questions for you. First of all, you Bite Force? Secondly, do you feel like a champion?
Sorry, I meant to make your bot a rep in the pack, but I'm just checking just to make sure you're not Bite Force, are you? Because I'm just to make sure that I'm not making Bite Force.
Not by any strange coincidence, you're not Bite Force, are you?
Get to the end of the very, very final fight, and the team captain pulls a very elaborate dust cover off of their robot to reveal Bite Force.
It was me the whole time.
And just take off the taped cardboard front.
That'd be amazing.
Can you imagine if Rusty was just Bite Force in disguise?
Just so you know, my laptop just had a big, scary freeze up.
Oh, God. If
It's back now, but I hope my audio's okay.
Of everyone's audio to go wrong.
Except mine. I'm recording separately, so...
Oh yeah, we're all recording separately, and Sam's doing a backup of the Skype call.
I know, but if I lose Ryan's audio, this entire podcast is gone.
You are doing a backup, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's got everyone mixed into it.
We're not scrapping this, put it that way.
Okay.
Ned, you're next up. It's an Oliver category. Loving Oliver's category names. Now, there are two of them. Rotator uses its traditional dual disc configuration in a match.
I didn't even know it still had it. I thought it was running that the Surgeon General setup.
I don't know that it still has it, to be honest.
It has 6 different setups, I believe.
I would like to hope that it does. I think dual disc rotator is the far more superior version.
Yeah, it's the most rotated version and not the most Surgeon General version.
I think the discs that they showed off on a CAD were sort of... They weren't as filled in, so there are big holes in them, and it's more just sort of the ring of metal making up the ring shape. But they do... If the CAD is to be believed, then they do have a dual disc setup.
Cool.
Just so everyone knows, the next category is category 53 out of 128.
Great.
Speed may need to increase.
Let's pick up the pace.
Oliver, you've got your own category, always on the scene.
Yay!
Extinguisher dies what it says on the tin. I assume you mean does what it says on the tin. Extinguisher must temporarily or permanently extinguish a fire while in a match.
Yeah, that's a repeat one.
Cool.
Excellent. No conversation required.
I prefer my title.
You don't know what the other one was.
I do know what the other one was. It was Wee Woo No, Not That One.
Oh, perfect. You've been here longer than I realised. David, you've got a Jevon category entitled Not in My Lexicon 2, implying there's a Not in My Lexicon 1 still to come.
There is.
The term drum is used for something that is clearly a drisk. The diagram should be used to define drisk. I will not move my position on this.
I better download the diagram.
Now I've got to put Jevon's diagram in the show notes. Great.
I will be studying that a lot during the season.
Jevon, you've got a mic category entitled Wedge. Smee wins a fight in the 2020 season. Exhibitions and whiteboards count so long as they are aired as part of the show on Discovery.
Ooh, nice caveat. I like it.
The one that doesn't leave us waiting for 6 months.
Yeah, no, I have no questions, I have no arguments.
Oh, good. Mike's given himself a category, and it's not a very nice one. It's titled, What Would You Like on Your Tombstone? Tombstone loses its first 2 fights of the 2020 season. So first 2 defined as the first 2 fights to be televised or otherwise mentioned on the show.
Very bold.
And very easily defined.
Why do I play this again?
To try and make everyone else's life a misery?
And then I just end up doing it to myself instead.
Oh, we got a vintage one from last series. This goes to Sam. It comes from Charlie. It's entitled Split Personalities. A robot is bisected or basically split from damage. Think of Huge in 2018 or Warhawk in 2019. That won't cause any arguments, right?
Oh, no.
He's referenced the 2019 Warhawk incident where it was trisected, I guess. So that helps with definitions.
He just said split from damage. Again, know it when
Yeah.
we see it.
Yeah, I think that's probably... Yeah, that'd be fine.
We've got a Sam Elliott category entitled Out with Win and You're In. No places in the top 32 will be decided by a play-in fight. So no play-ins, no Desperado.
Ooh.
Am I right in thinking that Desperado has already been deconfirmed?
Not from official channels.
As far as I remember, Spinnerproof requires extraordinarily good evidence to confirm or deconfirm things.
To be fair, we would only say there is no Desperado in the sort of final seconds of the final episode. Just in case.
I can genuinely see Ryan watching the final championship fight and be like, you know what? I think there might not actually be a Desperado this year.
But what if it came out as basement tapes?
It's too late.
Charlie gets a Mr. Psycho category. The future is now. No robots from the 2019 top 8 make the top 8 in 2020. Mike's back on form. So Black Dragon, Hydra, Sawblaze, Tombstone, Whiplash, and Witch Doctor would all have to not make the top 18. Sorry, the top 8.
Wow.
Mike is really trying to snipe other people in this.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I do. I'm just here to cause chaos.
Including to yourself.
That's what chaos is for, man. Chaos does not discriminate.
So you're chaotic neutral?
I suppose that would be the correct definition.
Chaotic something.
Ned gets a David category. In the blue hex, a Hexbug toy appears during a robot introduction. It says here, David, it must be within the battle box. So presumably not for something like a button press.
Yeah, it just has to be in the box when like Farouk does his introduction.
Last year, the Quantum team put a Tombstone Hexbug on the tooth of Quantum. Fun times.
Ah.
So that counts, whereas using the never-made Hexbug Hypershock rake to press the button doesn't count.
Oliver, you've also got a David category. Ghost of Toad. A Team Toad sticker appears.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to try and see.
Have your resolution on high for that one.
David's also said he does need a screenshot as proof.
Wow.
fair.
No messing around.
No anecdotal evidence of a sticker that everyone else saw.
And no photoshopping.
Actually, he doesn't say it has to be a real screenshot.
That is true.
I mean, now's the chance to define the category a bit better, David, so...
I'm sorry I didn't write an essay for mine.
David, you've also got a David category. Nice hat trick here. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Ribot makes the knockout stages.
Hey.
Yes.
Very good of you to write knockout stages as well, just because I think when you did these, we still weren't entirely sure it was a 32. So I rate that.
Yeah, I was being very careful with those.
David, does this count if the episode airs on a Thursday?
Yes, because it's mine.
I very much appreciate that reference.
Had to be done.
It's an older meme, but it does check out.
David had a David category. Jevon now gets a Jevon category. I don't think he'll be happy about this one.
Oh no.
I'm a fire starter. A collective 20 plus fires occur throughout the season.
That's ambitious.
Wow.
Only large amounts of smoke or visible flame will count towards this one. No weedy puffs of Lockjaw 2019 smoke, thank you very much. No less than 20 will earn the space. The fires must be televised.
Well,
Yes, I've written myself into a corner here.
I don't think it's unlikely. It just means you've got to count.
I'm going to print out my bingo card, and then I'm going to put 20 small crosses on this square so that I know that I have it.
I mean, based on previous years, you want to average one an episode, which is quite high.
That's supposing there are 20 episodes. We don't yet know.
That's why I said based on previous years.
If it comes down to points at the end of the game, does he get 1/20th of a point per fire?
Yes. I'll take it. It's my category. That's what I definitely meant and started writing that.
No. We don't do per category scoring around here. It's got to be consistent.
Sure.
If there are more than 15, you can have a half point.
That the scoring is done on the whim of the people doing the scoring at the time they're doing the scoring.
When I wrote this category, I forgot that I would be playing two. And that there was a strong possibility that I may end up with some of my own categories.
As a slight oversight.
Put it this way. You said very specifically that no less than 20 will earn the space. So I say no half points, no anything. You were very clear.
I was very, very clear, wasn't I?
You were aggressively clear, frankly.
Stupid Jevon.
Mike, you've got a David category coming. David, I'd love an explanation of the title on this one. I get the reference, but not the relevance. It's entitled Mr. Flibble's Very Cross. Production mention whether a team has quarantined in order to compete.
It's from the episode Quarantine.
Oh, the episode title, of course.
Yeah, when they have to quarantine.
I should never have doubted you.
Had it on the point.
Sam gets, again, one of my favourite titles. Sam gets an Oliver category. The Steel Chair. Slammo manages a suplex in a fight.
Yeah, very simple. Actually, one of my least favourite titles from the ones I came up with.
I remember you saying that when you made them, but I still disagree.
Now, does it have to be referred to as a suplex?
No. He just has to get the full grab and lift over from the front of the robot to the back of the robot.
I think that makes sense.
You're being very generous with this.
I mean, that's what a suplex is, so...
Well, no, because there's also like each wrestler will have their own name for different moves. So if you don't call it a suplex, it's not a suplex.
Why are you dragging this recording out, Mike?
The Slammo team reference it as a suplex. They have listed their their robot as a suplexing machine. So there.
So anything it does is a suplex. Perfect.
No,
Let's move on.
I'm just saying the weapon has to successfully work.
Yeah.
So lift, grab, drop behind.
We all know what
enough.
you mean. Just Mike being difficult for no reason.
We're up next. Another David category. We've had a lot of these in sort of quite short order. Topical reference. It'll definitely age well. Stop the count. A robot comes back to life while being counted out.
Yeah, that won't be a dead meme by the end of this.
King of Bot style, I like it.
I'm going to pretend you didn't see my meme and just copy it, so you know.
You are the source of all the memes. We can't hold people to that kind of high standard.
Okay, fair play.
Charlie gets another Sam Elliott category, Tears in the Gears. A competing team will visibly cry on BattleBots. Must be actual tears. Joy does not... Oh, joy does count. Okay. Happy tears. Sam is acknowledging happy tears.
Cool.
Another Sam Elliott category, this time for Ned. Third time lucky. Whiplash will fight and beat Tombstone.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
You don't know.
Yes, I do. No, they won't.
It'd be a good fight to see, given the Whiplash setup this year.
I mean, it would, but they won't.
Such confidence.
Oliver has a Ned category. The future is now, old man. Donald Hudson is reminded of how long he has been fighting for. Ned, you've been super specific. You said in a post-match interview, someone mentions to Donald Hudson that he has been competing for a while.
I mean, yeah, because, if it's just mentioned, then that isn't directly to him. He isn't being reminded. It has to be in a post-match interview or something.
It is probably one of the more likely places for it to happen.
Pre-fight pit segment?
I mean, I guess pit segment would probably count, but, it's most likely to happen in a post-match interview, so...
But you're not just limiting it to there, as long as it's said to him as part of a sort of interview format.
Just note that I did make all my categories at 4:30 this morning because I completely forgot otherwise.
I did wonder why you were awake at that time, but I didn't question it.
My steep schedule is all over the place.
I like how we now have 2 categories with basically the same name.
Yeah.
That's not going to get confusing.
I'm not going to go back and look, it'll take too long. David, you've got one of ours, entitled Stay Froggy. Ribot's vacuum-formed top survives an entire fight unscathed.
Unlucky, David.
Yeah, I think I'll take the L on that one.
It's possible. It's kind of hardy. We genuinely put that in as one of the more gettable ones, so don't tell me we've been meaner than we thought.
Yeah, I don't hold out much hope, but we'll see how it goes.
I don't know how to tell you this, Ryan, but you've been meaner than you thought.
That is usually how it goes with things I make. But last time, apparently, we were nice, so...
We've overcorrected.
I thought the quiz was easy and then people said it was hard, so who knows anymore.
Compared to other quizzes, it was easy.
That is fair. Jevon, you've got a Jevon category.
Oh, this has gone well in.
It's a bit of a repeat. No more apologies.
Yes!
Slamo makes the tournament bracket.
Oh, I'm so happy.
May the apologies to Craig Darby cease as Slamo enters the top. Insert field here.
Yes. I'm so happy I got this one. This is my favourite one that I wrote, so...
Mike, you have a Charlie.
Where?
Thank God for the arena. A robot gets flung into the Lexan.
Okay, I actually get a free space this year, yay.
You do. It's just a case of when it happens. How soon?
I think you got one of the lipophile ones, Mike.
Shoosh.
Sam and Robocast have a David category. Hammer to Fall. Beta versus Chomp 1v1.
Excellent title. Approve of that.
It's to the point.
Real range of references from David today.
Yeah, it was another late night one when I was preparing these, so my mind went all over the place.
He is a man of culture.
Our category now, and it's from Ned, entitled My Leg! Chomp loses a leg in battle.
Oh.
Chomp loses a leg in battle.
Oh, no.
The leg must come off.
Oh, no. I don't want that.
I mean, it's got 6. It could just lose 1 and still win, and we'll be happy.
So just for clarity, it has to come off, it can't be dangling?
It has to come
A
off.
full amputation.
Full amputation.
Fair enough.
Ooh. Charlie's got his own category. And from when I read them, this is kind of one of the ones I wanted him to get for himself. It's entitled Sorry About Your Bike. One of Jenny Taft's segments will be the robot's weapon against a household object. So think of Sawblaze cutting a bicycle in half or Gruff torching a baseball.
Okay.
Apparently baseballs are household objects now.
Gruff burnt a lot of things in that test video.
Were any of them household objects?
There was a chair, although it was like a community centre chair.
It was a garden chair.
I think it's fair to say that for Americans, a baseball is a household object.
That's true.
Yeah. Same for garden chairs.
Ironically, I do not have a baseball, I only have tennis balls.
Close enough. Same thing.
It's all sport, innit?
Some American you are. Same sport. Brutal.
Just play tennis with a baseball, you'll see it's the same thing.
Ned, you have a Mr. Psycho category. This is why we can't have nice things. Which, ironically, will be one of the reasons that we can't have nice bingo cards, because that's far too long. Someone is on camera wearing a mask incorrectly. So specifically a face mask to deal with COVID rather than part of a costume, and in ways such as under their chin with their nose hanging out, or constantly adjusting it every few seconds. Wearing it hanging off of one ear also counts. Oliver has a Sam Elliott one. Nice little sports ball reference here as well. In fact, I think specifically a baseball reference. Home field advantage. No teams from outside the US will feature in the top 16.
Okay.
In this case, the home field advantage being the exclusion of many nations.
Did he write this in March or something?
It wouldn't surprise me if he wrote these like directly after losing last time. Just wrote them in anger. David, your next one comes from Oliver. Rusty in pieces. Our Lord and Saviour gets a win.
Oh, nice.
Our Lord and Savior Ray Billings?
No, our other Lord and Saviour.
There's many gods.
What was that about Draven?
Yeah, any win counts against any robot. Can even be in a non-televised fight. But, I mean, for the sake of the podcast and the game, probably not one of the basement fights because we'll have to wait ages for those to come out.
Oliver doing God's work there. Or Rusty's work, as it's also known. Jevon has a Jevon category.
And again?
Slightly ironic. Game of Clones. A robot is likened to another robot in looks alone. The robot cannot be likened to another for any reason other than it looks like X robot.
Yeah. So it's sort of the opposite of the new Bite Force one. It's basically saying, oh yeah, this robot looks like this robot, even though it's probably just because it's got the same weapon.
Just because there's a meta.
Yeah.
Mike, for I think the second time today, has also got a Mike category. Ice Baby. Ice Wave tears another robot in half. Oh, hello. Mike trying to dictate the rules of the game here. Let's see what we make of this. If this square is not part of a line, 1 point is awarded for every robot that Ice Wave splits in half.
That's not how this game works.
I'm pretty sure if Ice Wave rips 3 robots in half, I get 3 points.
No.
You see, if we got this category, I'd be all for it.
No. That's not how bingo works.
Yeah, but we did half points last time. We've set this precedent for ourselves.
Look, games are the following of arbitrary rules for fun. You can't be changing the rules all the time.
But that's what makes it fun.
No.
No bonus points. Moving on. Are we all agreed that no bonus points is probably the more bingo way of doing bingo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I really like about this game? It's the variety of different categories you get. This is for Robocast. It's from Ned. It's called A Game of Two Halves. A robot gets split apart. And in the notes, he said that if this square isn't part of a line, 1 point is awarded for every robot that gets split in half.
This category is beginning to become like the no more animal themed robots of No More Spinners.
Don't know, I think Clusterbox come up more.
For completion, I will read what Ned actually wrote, which is, a robot must get split into 2 or more significant chunks in order for this to be achieved.
Cool.
One for us up next. It's from Mike. It's entitled, We Get It Already. The cast avoids saying COVID-19, pandemic, or coronavirus.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. So the cast includes Farouk, Kenny, Chris, and Jenny, but not any competing teams. This square will be awarded if nobody on the cast says one or more of the 3 terms for the entire season.
Damn it.
Oh, far. Okay.
So we're required to prove that at no point any of those things have been said.
By those 4 people.
But you're asking us to prove a negative, which you can't do.
So it seems reasonable that for us not to get that, someone else should have to prove that one of them did say it.
Yeah.
In fact, really, Mike should have to.
We've got that until Mike proves otherwise.
All agreed?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that's not how bingo squares work. We have that until proven otherwise.
No. In a real game of bingo, all your opponents have to prove that the numbers on your sheet didn't come out of the machine.
To be fair, in normal games of bingo, there aren't fighting robots.
The thing
And
is,
that's why no one plays it anymore.
Yeah.
the thing is, Spinnerproof are hosting this game, and therefore we can make the rules however we want. You all agreed to that when you came onto the podcast.
I did not check the terms and conditions box before proceeding.
Well, that's your own fault, isn't it?
Here on Spinnerproof, we accept assent rather than consent. In games.
I mean, Sam, you literally did just say that in order for this to work, we have to follow the arbitrary rules for fun. I was assuming the rules have been set up in advance, but apparently not.
No, they've been set up in advance.
So you can't change them on the fly then?
I'm not changing them on the fly. I'm simply telling you what the rules are.
Is there a document for these rules? May I see it?
No. One of the rules is that the competitors can't see the rules.
Can I get the audiobook?
The audiobook. I'll get Ryan to read the rules out for you.
Dragging this kicking and screaming onto the next category. This is number 83, by the way. We're doing a little better now, I feel. It's for Charlie. It comes from Sam. It's entitled Double Kill. A simultaneous knockout fight result will be declared by the ref's arena side. Ned, you get a David category entitled Screwed. A robot is knocked out via getting jammed in the screws.
Don't the screws rotate to stop that?
Supposedly.
Sometimes they do get stuck.
Presumably jammed in would include sort of stuck behind them.
Yes, yeah.
Hang on, so was that just a rubber gets knocked out or just gets immobilized?
Well, that's the same thing.
Not as a minibot.
Oh. I mean, it says KO'd, so yeah, it would have to be a KO declared.
It has to be the main robot, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm screwed then. Screwed, eh?
Fair play, Ned. Fair play. That was a good little distinction to draw. Oliver is giving Oliver the next category.
Yay!
Entitled, Thank you, Jonathan. Very cool. The show presents a blatantly false fact, either through the graphics or from the mouths of the presenters themselves. I'm glad you've got the burden of proving that one.
I quite enjoy it as a category. We've had a good laugh when they've misnamed robots or they've glossed over facts and details in past seasons. I feel like it will come up and we'll all know about it.
I'm not sure that glossing over a detail counts as lying.
I mean, it depends. You can lie by omission.
That sounds like a generous definition that suits the person who has the category.
Hey, I came up with the category. I get to define the category. I make the arbitrary rules here.
No.
You would have got to define the category in writing it. That's what the notes were there for, and you didn't use the notes.
I think I used them for pretty much every other one other than this.
Oh boy, did you.
Oh, yeah, just a bit.
We'll know it when we see it. David, you have a Jevon category. Spin, damn it! Axe backwards wins a fight. He's clarified it must win at least one fight, causing noticeable damage along the way.
Thanks, Jevon. I appreciate this kind gift.
I had to put it in there because I have gone on record on several other sort of things saying that I want Axe Backwards to work this season. So if it does as I want it to, then you'll get it. If it doesn't, we'll both be sad.
At one point in this process, I literally had a category that was about Axe Backwards not working again.
Wouldn't it have been great if you'd kept it and David had got that too?
Yeah, just have both of them next to each other so I can't get the line.
As if anyone's getting a line in this game anyway.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Jevon, your next category comes from Charlie. It's entitled Beat the Clock. A robot comes back to life during the 10-second countdown, and the countdown is called off.
Lovely.
Cool.
Mike, yours is from Sam Elliott, entitled Close Quarters. A fight will have to be restarted due to separation being required. So something like Blacksmith Quantum or the like, if there's reputable evidence outside of the show, that counts.
Okay.
Makes sense to me.
I'm glad he went for outside the show, because they have tried to edit around that kind of stuff in the past.
In fact, I think we had one last year of a unstick actually being acknowledged, didn't we? I can't remember if that got ticked or not.
I think it did not on a technicality.
Ah, good old technicalities. We love those. Sam is up next with a Ned category. It's called Look at Me, Pa. Two robots with a minibot fight, both using their minibots in the fight. Oh no.
What?
Oh dear.
Oh, what?
We're up next with our own category.
Oh no.
Lipo Fire 2. A lipo fire happens. Which I've just realised I literally wrote the note with, we'll know it when we see it. Which explains why I've been using that phrase so much all through the recording.
Somebody else is hosting next season?
Look, you've got a lipo fire square, Mike. Quit complaining.
You guys gave yourself this last season too.
Look, this is done as honestly as our die rolls, okay?
Oh, Sam, why did you have to use those words?
Expulsion definitely got all those ones. Definitely.
It did.
That's the worst thing. It did.
It did.
Definitely.
100%.
It did, allegedly.
See, I'm so sad. Even if you're joking, I'm so sad that is now something people could doubt. It just hurts me.
And it's fun because nobody would have ever questioned it if you guys didn't bring it up all the time.
Oh, they would have. They would have.
Okay, maybe Tale of the Toaster.
Next up, Charlie also gets a Spinnerproof category. It's also a Spinnerproof sequel. It's entitled Hide and Psych 2. Despite the lack of live audience, world-renowned YouTuber Mr. Psycho is still somehow spotted on screen.
You know, I was considering the possibility that they might use footage from previous seasons to acknowledge that there's no crowd this season.
Exactly our thinking. Or Sam's thinking, to be precise. You can blame him for this one.
You're welcome.
I really wish Charlie was here to receive that personally. It's a shame. I'll be sure to let him know later on. Ned, you have a Sam category. Oh, wow, this is a fresh one. Up, up, and away. A competing robot, as a whole, not in pieces, hits the roof of the battle box.
Haven't heard that before.
Join me.
There must be sufficient evidence from reliable sources or exclaimed by the presenting staff.
We are an imaginative bunch, aren't we?
There was no collusion here whatsoever.
I'm very disappointed that out of 128 categories, we didn't get 0 repeats. You've all let us down. Oliver, your next one comes from Charlie. You only got one shot. A fight is ended in one exchange.
Ooh, okay.
The opponent may not be fully KO'd, but it's enough to be clear that they're dead. Because BattleBots has been super consistent on that front.
I mean, knowing BattleBots, that'll probably be a main event fight or something like that.
Was Yeti versus Icewave literally first hit?
Yes, I think
No, I don't think it was.
I think it might have been second. I think they had a glancing blow. Definitely Endgame versus Son of Waiachi was first hit.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes. But was that a main event? Just because we were talking about it being a main event, that's all I was thinking. I realised it has no relevance to the competition, and therefore I shouldn't mess around with it. Let's move on.
Let's not waste time.
David has a Jevon category, The King is Dead. Tombstone fails to make the tournament bracket.
Ooh.
Ooh. You've not been kind to me, have you, Jevon? Like, I've got 4 of yours now.
It's alright, I've got 4 of my own, probably. 3 of my own.
Can Tombstone fail to make the bracket by losing its first 2 fights so I can get a square 2?
Absolutely.
I mean, that would make sense.
I mean, as time goes on, more and more people have effective Tombstone strategies. We see more and more of what works.
I mean, we know Tombstone's first matchup, and it could be an interesting one, so...
I could see that matchup going either way.
Jevon, after that, you get actually quite a nice category from Ned. David versus Goliath. Mammoth fights a robot with a minibot. The minibot must be used in the fight.
The minibot must also be made of Lego.
Of course.
Does this have to be the BattleBots definition of minibot?
I mean, technically speaking, what Escape Velocity was a minibot. What Escape Velocity had was a minibot.
Well, they clarified in the rules this year a minibot is classified as less than 20 pounds.
Okay. Then, sure, that.
I don't think there are any mini-bots that would, or things that would sort of tick that grey area at all this season. We've only got one multi-bot, and everything else, the mini-bots are very mini. Mike, you've got one of ours coming up. Entitled, They're Good Dogs, Bronco. The Pain Train team's dog is acknowledged on the show. Because it isn't acknowledged in their team bio, and that's sad.
Okay, then.
No reaction to the dog. That's so sad.
I mean, that's going to be my exact reaction. If it's on the show, I will have no reaction and just be like, oh, a dog, okay.
You heartless motherfucker.
I wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
Robocast get a David category. Pink is sus. A pink robot makes the knockout stages. The robot must be predominantly pink. How many predominantly pink robots do we have?
Two that I can count. Axolotl and Sporkanock.
Sporkanock is not predominantly pink. It is approximately 2/5 pink.
I'd say Hijinks is.
Yeah,
Hijinks is.
Looking at their picture, they are predominantly pink.
The thing is with Sporkanock is if you were to define that robot in one colour, it probably would be pink.
No, it's 40% pink. Slightly less than 40% pink because of the black of the wheels.
I know there's like a lot of blue and white on the robot, but I feel like the one colour that you would define that robot as is, if you had to pick one, just one, would be pink.
What colour is Shatter?
Get out.
Shatter is not pink.
Don't even talk about it.
This season it's quite pink.
It's whatever colour light is falling on it.
Yeah, it's true of most colours.
No, not true of most colours, because there's a degree of absorption and re-emittance.
Right, let's not get into physics here. I would say that Sporkanock is pink.
Well, I wouldn't say that Axolotl is particularly pink either, but... What am I saying? Axolotl, yeah. Looking at their picture, they have some pink on them. So if we're going by the amount of pink that Axolotl is, then Sporkanock is also pink.
So there's two ways we can look at predominantly. We can either say more than 50% or the colour there is most of.
I'd say colour there is most of, probably.
Well, Axolotl is definitely pink.
That's the most generous way. In which case, with Axolotl, more pink than any other. Well, more pink than there is black. Absolutely fine. Sporkanock is going to be roughly equal between the pink and the blue, presumably.
No, there's definitely more pink. I'm looking at a picture of it now.
Yeah, same. The body is pink, so...
Axolotl's definitely pink. Sporkanock is definitely pink as well. I probably pronounced that wrong, and I'm sorry.
I'm now looking at it. Yeah, Sporkanock is definitely pink. I was just taking the flag and kind of going from there, thinking they just painted it straight on. But yeah, those big sections are the big pink bits.
Are we saying Hijinks as well?
Hijinks, I'd say pink, yeah. Because it's got a big chunk of the bar that's in pink. It is the most prevalent colour.
Yeah, that's pink as well.
I'm glad Sam got that one as well.
Next, we've got a Sam category. Waiachi. Two or more Team Waiachi robots will fight each other in the 2020 BattleBots season. Could be a whiteboard or exhibition fight, doesn't have to be a regular season fight.
Waiachi Phobots implying that Waiachi robots are not real. There's some kind of conspiracy going on.
It turns out that 97 categories is my limit for my brain and voice working together. Ooh. Charlie has got a Mr. Psycho category, The Bot Whisperer. Footage of pre-reboot... One reboot.
That needs to be cut.
No, Jevon, no. Go on, we've only got 5 more minutes of mic. We've got to make the most of it. The Bot Whisperer. Footage of a pre-reboot BattleBots is used in reference to Peter Abramson. Footage of his robot Ronin would also 100% count.
What team is he on again?
He's the Bot Whisperer.
Oh,
He's a presenter.
Yeah, he's part of the crew.
Yeah, okay, cool.
A presenter who, by the way, wasn't listed under presenters in an earlier category that listed presenters.
I think that was before we knew he was going to be there, probably.
Correct.
Ned, you've got one of ours. Flawed Floor. The new improved floor still gets damaged. So we're saying damage to the point of becoming an obstacle or something like a visible hole, which wouldn't be an obstacle but would still be obvious.
I mean, it's probably going to happen, so...
Are you counting damage to the kill saws?
I mean, are kill saws the floor?
They are fitted. They become part of the floor because the surroundings of the kill saw are part of the flat surface, but they often get damaged.
Floors are flat.
If you take the kill saws away, you still have floor.
That floor then has holes in, though.
I mean, it has holes in if the saws are still there as well, because the saws come through the holes. The saws are not the holes themselves. Nor are the holes themselves the floors.
Has the floor been damaged to put the kill saws in?
Okay,
No.
so tick that already, Ned.
Nothing but the pure, unrefined ore of the metal is allowed. Everything else is damaged to it in some way.
The paint damage.
He just damaged it.
someone, I'm not sure who, has some weird sounds coming through their microphone, like they're hitting it, brushing it, or they're like air blowing it or something, and I just want to just check that, please.
Oliver, your next one comes from Charlie. It's entitled Salt of the Fans. A judge's decision causes significant ire on the online community.
Okay.
So check that one off.
I don't know, new categories or the new scoring system, maybe?
Has any of the other scoring systems made them happier?
It's one of those things where you hope that every season the new refinements to the rules are going to make it less and less controversial and more towards what we want to be seeing. But every problem they solve is probably a problem they create elsewhere.
I choose to believe that the perfect judging system does exist, and it's present in Fight Court. David, you're next with a Sam Elliott category entitled Derby Match. In a clash of colours and weapon types, Slammo will fight the Big Dill.
That'll be interesting.
Hopefully in like the top 4. That would make it a lovely season. Jevon, you have a Mike category. 'Tis just a flesh wound. A robot that has taken significant damage still lasts to a judge's decision. The damage is visibly severe, not just superficial, and they are clearly still having some mobility. Think Rotator versus Scorpios.
Yeah, I like it. The underdog story, kind of.
Mike, you've got a Ned one that I think is going to take a little bit of defining just quickly.
Oh no.
It's entitled Shocker. A rookie makes the top 16. Ned, what's your chosen definition of rookie here?
Right, so I sort of define it as sort of like new robot, new team, but that new team can have some sort of old members. So Hijinks is definitely a rookie. But say if an old team, which was the exact same team, came along with a new robot, I don't know if I'd consider Fusion a rookie because it's a Waiachi robot, but Hijinks is kind of like a brand new team of sorts. So
does that make sense to everyone? I think that's fair.
Yeah,
as long as I'm making sense, I'm making sense, then yeah.
I'll know it when I see it. All right, with that, I'm going to drop out of the call.
So long, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us.
Just so everyone knows, we are on category 105. So we've got just over 20 to go. We've picked up the pace significantly, and I'm liking it. Even if I do feel bad that we're not discussing lots of things that could be discussed. It's just going to be the way it is. Sam Elliott now gets to give a category to himself. It's a new one, Extinguisher by name. The fire extinguisher on Extinguisher works and puts a fire out.
I think we've decided that's just something we all want to see.
I think we pretty much all enjoy watching weird things work, don't we? It's kind of a big part of what we're here for. We now get another Ned category. Don't bring wheels into the arena. A horizontal spinner snipes a wheel. Snipe refers to one accurate hit that kills the wheel. Must be enough damage to render the wheel useless.
Fair enough.
Next up, it's Charlie with a David category. Not even the younglings survived. Oh, Jevon, you're going to love this. Perfect Phoenix fails to win a fight.
Yes, please.
Are you previously on record with your hopes for Perfect Phoenix?
It'd be such a shame if Perfect Phoenix were to not work.
Ned, you've got an Oliver category entitled Proof in the Pudding. A new build has teething trouble. So Oliver's saying that a new build means built for 2020 by a new or returning team with no prior combat testing at something like Robot Ruckus.
Okay, that sounds fair enough.
Yeah, kind of just any sort of significant change to previous robots as well. So things like Hypershock in 2018 is basically a completely new build, a complete departure. Well, same overall design aesthetic, or set design idea, but new aesthetic, lots of new things have gone into it. It's again one of those things that we can kind of define on as we go along for some of the more grey areas, but it'll be one of those ones where you know it where you see it.
Yeah, no points of contention there.
Oliver, you've got an Oliver category as well. Niche reference, Maxwell Edison. The pulverizers score a KO on a robot.
This is one of my harsher ones. I don't think it's going to happen, but we can dream. The hazards might do something.
It says a lot that you've given an example that's the closest you can find, but still not that close. You've given Lucky versus Scorpios. It's like, okay.
Which Doctor versus Gigabyte springs to mind? Because it was still moving up until the pulverizers started.
Okay, yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm sure the bit where it got launched almost to the ceiling was nothing to do with that KO.
It was still working at that point. It was only after it started getting hit by pulverizer it stopped. Whether that was just timing or whether it was down to the pulverizer, we will never know.
If the pulverizer just gets even just stealing the kill, that's fine. That's enough for the category.
An assisted kill will do.
Yes.
Continuing along a theme, David, you've got a Ned category entitled Ow, my head! Chomp's hammer snipes a robot. So snipe in this instance refers to hitting a robot accurately in a place that kills it, i.e. in a kill switch or the batteries or whatever.
Yeah, that's to the point.
So Ned, are you kind of thinking, not even a twitch after it hits?
I'm thinking it's got to be to a point where they would call it immobile. I've also been sure to make sure that to appease both Chomp sides. So I've got one where Chomp dies and one where Chomp is doing something.
You're playing both sides, so you definitely come out on top.
Yes, exactly.
Jevon, you've got a Charlie category. Stop! He's already dead. A robot continues to get beaten on despite it being clear it's not moving. This doesn't apply to crab walking. It's blatantly clear it's dead.
He's not here to define it, so I'm going to take it to also mean even if the team have allowed the further execution of their robot. For example, do you want some more?
Fair. He hasn't ruled against it, so that sounds reasonable. I love that category, but it is a shame that it came in between the one before it and this. Micah's got one of our ones entitled Crowd Favourite. Chomp scores a one-hit KO. We're saying first hit of the weapon, not necessarily the first swing of the weapon, but the first successful hit. If there's a glancing blow before, that's not a one-hit KO.
No contention there.
You'll know it when you see it.
Sam and Robocast now have a Charlie category. That's not 30 seconds. A team has to be reminded that they can only hold an opponent for 30 seconds.
Is this reminded by a ref?
I mean, it doesn't say so.
Reminded by a roboteer going, are they going to let me go?
A kindling, I guess, would count, wouldn't it?
To be fair, I think a lot of the time they don't even have to be reminded. The refs just do it anyway. They'll go, oh yeah, remember you've only got 30 seconds when they've been holding them for, 5 seconds?
And if
Nobody
we hear
likes-
it surely counts.
Yeah. Nobody likes boring holdy fights, that's why.
What if it's by the commentators?
Are the
Then
commentators talking directly to the team? If not,
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
I assume if it came up in a post-fight context of, you do know you're only allowed to hold people for 30 seconds, you clearly held them for 30.3. Because, BattleBots is so consistent with enforcing its rules like that.
They have a PowerPoint explaining how many seconds they were holding onto it for each time during the fight.
Crab walking's only crab walking if you're not a champion or, one of the favourites.
What if you're a crab?
And then it is crab walking, I'm afraid.
Oh, damn.
There goes Joe Brown's chances of getting on BattleBots.
One day, we believe. Jevon, there's a lot going on in this next one. I think you're going to be called in a little bit.
God.
It's a category for us, from you. It's a payoff to an earlier category. This is the original Not In My Lexicon.
Yes.
I was expecting something different, but I like what we've got.
I'm very pleased you've got this.
The term forward thrust flipper is used to describe a front hinge. Can be said by anyone, must be audibly heard once.
Yeah.
My only question for you is, what if it's in a graphic?
It's not been heard.
Damn it. But you said it has to be used to describe it. Then you've clarified that it's being said, but...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how clarifying works. Fair play.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone. We're near the end.
Can you tell that we've been going for over 2 hours? Nearly 3 hours, bloody hell.
I'd love to go and check how long we've been going, but I'm scared if I click on Audacity, it'll crash.
The Skype call has been going 2 hours 42. We've been recording about 2 hours 20.
I was going to say, I feel like 2.5 hours will be the end on this. Nearly there. Number 115. Next category goes to Charlie. It comes from Sam. I feel like those two have exchanged categories more than most, or maybe I'm just noticing it because neither of them are here. It's entitled Po Body's Nerfect. The winner of BattleBots will have lost at least one fight on course to winning. So no perfect season like Bite Force has had for the last 2. Well, I think we're only getting 3 pre-season, aren't we? So,
But then no 3-0s then.
That's a low-key excellent category. I like that a lot.
So they would have to... Perfect season is 8 wins, I believe.
It's winning all of your fights and not losing any, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ned, you're getting a Charlie category.
Okay.
That's a huge hit. Self-explanatory, Charlie says. Kenny or Chris say huge hit or something akin. Unfortunately, he hasn't put quote marks around something akin, because I'd love for that to be how you got this instead.
Kenny, there was something akin to...
Ned just dancing around the room in his underpants, celebrating.
I wonder if you could get it... This is the challenge. If you could get it by them describing a fight that Huge was in and describing what they were doing. Huge hit the other robot.
I mean, that is the woke option.
Yeah. Or something akin, because that could mean that the words are flipped. So something hits Huge.
Shh. Look, you're going to get it anyway. Don't worry about it. Oliver, you have got a Charlie category entitled Grabbing Defeat from the Jaws of Victory.
Okay.
A robot who is clearly winning the fight suddenly dies for any reason. Think Cobot versus Duck or Endgame versus Death Roll.
Come on, surely the best example is Bombshell versus Yeti.
I think Cobot versus Duck is the best example, but I do agree that's an example.
True. But I don't think Cobalt was really dead, though, was it?
It died in terms of its participation in the fight.
It did.
Fair, we'll give it that.
Stop trying to be pedantic and technical. This isn't the podcast for that.
Since when?
Since now.
I'm going to hold you to that.
I'm getting rather confused by all these arbitrary rules you're suddenly introducing.
It's all right, Oliver, the audiobook's coming soon.
David, you've got a Mr. Psycho category entitled Knife Roomba. One of Mobot's autonomous lawnmowers makes an appearance on the show. Now, Mike's specifying it's not a cameo appearance in the background. It must be clearly intended as featuring on the show for whatever reason.
Okay.
Slight question then, and I know Mike isn't here to define this. We've had promos for things like the Ford pickup and Jurassic World that were kind of somewhat incorporated into the show in the past, but were not technically part of the episode. Is that something we want to count?
I was going to ask exactly the same question. I feel like we can't make a judgment on that without Mike here. If he hadn't been part of the recording at all, I'd have been okay deciding for him. But since he's had to go because we've taken forever, I feel like we should check with him, which is a boring solution to the question.
Yeah, given that Mobot are sponsoring the show, it wouldn't surprise me if it was something that happened.
My instinct is that if it's one of those segments, it's broadcast with the show, outside of what would be classed as their ad break time, I think. Not that the US tracks ad break time like we do in the UK. I'd be inclined to give it, but I think we'll have to check with Mike on that one, and the answer will be on the page for BattleBots Bingo.
Yeah, I think the flip side to that is if when BattleBots is sold around the world, is that advert going to be sold as part of that episode? Probably not.
Ooh.
That's true. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
It also, actually, this is one of those things where it could happen for people seeing the US broadcast, but not for whatever version you get to see. Interesting. Lots to think about there. We'll jump on, because we're at the end of the penultimate round here. Jevon, you've got one of ours, one that I hoped we get ourselves, really. It's entitled Yeetida. A robot hits the ceiling or lights. Any robot, including minibots, any robot at all, hitting the ceiling or lights.
So if a heavyweight does it, I've got 2 ticks then.
Yeah.
Smashing.
I would be interested to hear at some point, which I'm pretty sure we're not going to do because of how many categories there are. But it would be interesting to see how many repeats there have been and what the most popular categories are.
Oh, it'll be in the show notes, won't it, Ryan?
It'll be in Jevon's show notes on the news when he talks about this episode.
There aren't notes.
Last round now. Valuable corner squares being given out here. Mike gets a Jevon category entitled Cluster. Gemini fails to get a single win in the regular competition.
Which would then eliminate it from any other bit of the competition.
Not necessarily.
It's not Bombshell, it can't get weird entries into other things.
Yeah.
So Jevon has clarified that he won't include basement tapes, and also that wouldn't be regular competition, which he's also specified.
For the ease of saying it on the podcast, I'd like to rename it to Cluster Funk.
Fine, I'll change it. Next up, for Sam's last category, it's from Mr. Psycho, and it's entitled Oh Lord, She Comin'. Chomp ends the season with a positive winning record, which, for clarity, he specified as a winning record for this season greater than, but not equal to, 50%.
I enjoy the specificity there.
He hasn't mentioned whether that includes anything outside of main competition.
I would assume not.
Oh man, we have so many Chomp categories.
Excellent.
Should have seen this coming. Our final category comes from Oliver. It's entitled The Bigger They Are. Chomp's hammer causes significant damage. Significant meaning that it impairs its opponent in some way through mobility, weaponry, or compromised armour.
Yeah, follow up to, I'm presuming, a previous category. I had another one called The Harder They Fall, which was Chomp's legs getting taken out by a spinner, which I'm assuming has been and gone at this point.
Ah, yeah, that was a very early one, I think.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Charlie's final category comes from David, entitled Lights, Camera, Smash. One of the lights is broken during a fight.
Yeah, that one's a gimme.
It's where we all realise that they've covered the lights this season with like a Lexan inner roof.
Does that count as the roof hit ones?
I think that counts as a ceiling.
It's the highest thing they can hit.
Well then.
Ned, your final category comes from Jevon, entitled Noob Force. A new robot for 2020 takes the nut. So any brand new robot takes the title for 2020. Old teams with new robots do also count. For example, Fusion. Nicely defined there, Jevon. Well done.
Thank you.
X'd out, definitely.
Oliver, your final category is from Sam Elliott.
I've had a lot of Sam Elliott categories.
Yeah, poor you. It's entitled Wait For It. John Reed says the exact words, good hit, together. He must say the exact term, good hit, in a similar vein as the infamous Series 9 moment.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
David, you get... Nice. We should have done it on the 69th category, but we didn't realise we were there.
I'm almost disappointed that other sort of iconic John Reed moments, like One Good Boof, aren't going to get included, but I guess those are more one-time things.
I mean, the gods of memes are pretty fickle. You never know what's going to catch. David, your last category comes from Jevon. It's entitled What Other Weapon? A robot with known interchangeable weaponry doesn't change weapon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like that.
So, a la Bombshell 2019, Rip the Horizontal or Lifter, the culprit must have been seen in build testing with another setup they have decided to sideline for whatever reason.
I am going to also caveat and include a CAD that we have seen for this version. So, for example, Rotator, who showed off on their entry CAD that they had lots of different weapons. If they don't use those other weapons, then, you know.
Okay.
I will also say, if they use one of those other weapons, then the category doesn't count. You don't have to wait for them to use all 6. Or do you think we should if it's a robot that has 6 different configurations and they don't use all of them?
Well, you're saying that they don't change weapons, so don't change weapon at all. Use the same thing all through.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you've covered it already.
Lovely.
Right then. final category. It's going to Jevon. Before I reveal it myself, has anybody sort of noticed that one of theirs is missing so far?
I think I have.
So it's a David category. This is an awfully mean one to end on.
Oh, no.
Especially because it's gone to Jevon. This is just cruel. Age of Rust. Rusty goes undefeated during fight cards.
You're welcome.
Let's go. Rusty is the best of all of us.
We'll see.
Well, we're all set up. Unlike last year, we're not going to be doing sort of specific episodes to catch up on how things are going. Instead, the plan is that all of the competitors can keep up with this kind of however they like, through whatever stuff they're doing through the season, and we'll be back together at some point, well, after the grand final most likely, to see how we've all got on.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do now. I don't know if you want to go straight into an outro, Sam?
You can find the show notes for this episode at spinnerproof.com/episodes/84, and there you can find links to all the people involved in this episode. You can also find a link to our Twitter at Spinnerproof, where you can tweet to us your own bingo cards.
On that note, something I'd love to add is that I was so happy last year that imitators of this sprung up. It's like genuinely one of the biggest compliments you can get for this kind of thing. So any imitators are more than welcome. But we'll always be the best.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.